Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast show. And this week we have stories, interesting stories, two each, I guess. So we'll start with the first one. Yes. Stephen, let me ask you, what's your power supply size in your computer?
1,000 watts.
Right, 1,000 watts. 1 kilowatts. Now, most people will have around about, say, 750. I think that's the kind of average size for most computers, home computers. 750 to 850. And that drives mostly, a gaming card, graphics card, GeForce, maybe 360, 3 something, or maybe a 40 series.
Also keep in mind, too, that mine is a platinum powered one.
Right.
You'll want to look that up because that's very important. Because in a nutshell, basically, power supplies are rated for the loss of power or how much they can actually output.
Right.
Because mine's a Be Quiet power supply, which is German
engineering.
German engineering. I get most of that. I get most of my 1,000 watts.
Yeah, it's all about energy efficiency and stuff like that. Yeah. So, I think they go by ratings like the 80 plus ratings. You got a bronze certification.
So why is that actually important if you have a computer? If you have a DIY computer?
Yeah, if for example, if you have most people, if you just switch on a computer idling, you're not going to get much power usage, right? Maybe 15, 20 watts and stuff like that. But when you full load, when you're having like full rendering or you're gaming, whatever, then the power supply peaks up, right? So you're using much more high wattage. And then what you'll find that rather than getting full efficiency, you're getting like the full power rather than getting full power. If you have a not so good standard of certification, then you get loss of power.
Yeah.
And when you have loss of power, a loss of the power, you will your system becomes unstable and you crash.
Yes.
So you want high efficiency, more high stability, and you're going to get that with certifications of 80 plus. I would say silver or gold. Now you have the platinum. Yeah. So that means on an 80 plus gold, you're going to get around about 90% efficiency.
Okay.
Right.
So most people to buy a Dell, you might not have this.
Yeah, you probably get like 75%.
You might not have this.
So the lower the efficiency, if you drops down to like 75, 70%, then your system becomes unstable at full load. You want high efficiency, 80 plus gold or higher, you're going to get 90% efficiency, which is good and stable. Platinum hits around about 92, 93, around there. Yeah. And then titanium goes up to 95% efficiency, and that's really expensive.
Okay. So why is this important for PC hardware builders gaming? Why is this important?
And with graphics card nowadays, especially with the launch of the GeForce RTX 50 series, right, the Blackwell GPU, the 5090, for example, uses up almost up to 400 plus, even like some people have been using up to 600 plus watts of power. So you have a power supply at 750, you're not going to be able to power that graphics card. So you need at least a minimum of 1,000 watt or higher. People recommending 1,200 for a 5090.
1.2 kilowatts. Wow.
Yeah, because your card peaks, not like general work, but peaks up to 600 watts. But averaging around about 400 to 600, you still need a power supply that can handle it. Now, of course, 5090 is not going to be available for everyone because of the price and everything. I think people will go maybe for the 5080s and 5070s. And even at that, you're looking at kind of a maximum what we call DDP, wattage use on the graphics card. You're looking at 360 watts just for that graphics card. Right?
Okay.
So literally 750 might be able to cope, but we recommend higher. 1,000 watt be nice.
Okay.
Right?
So for most people out there, if you can't replace your power supply, you're going to have to replace your computer. Because if you have a Dell with a proprietary power supply, if you have anything that's store-bought from some store somewhere, you have some Intel processor that you think is a Core something processor, and you want to put a new graphics card in there, and it starts shutting down.
Yeah.
This is the reason why.
And also, the new graphics card, especially from the 40 series onwards, will have for NVIDIA anyway, you have a new 16-pin power connector, which is what we call a PCIe 5 power connector, or maybe another term is 12V HWR. Right? Anyway, it's different. So you need a power supply which supports this type of connector for the graphics card if you have a GeForce.
Well, that's a lot to know for those gamers out there looking to plug in a 5000 series GPU.
Yeah, you need to upgrade your power supply.
You won't be able to. Yeah. Okay, so those gamers out there, better check it out or take it to your local computer store, I guess.
Yeah. A power supply is important because that's one thing that a lot of people kind of like overlook. They think, oh yeah, I'll get a Sim 50, it's cheap enough. It is cheap enough, yes, true, but it may not be able to power or for the hardware, especially with the new stuff. So you need to look into getting a decent power supply with. I would recommend 80 plus gold. 80 plus gold is kind of the standout. I don't see many 80 plus silver or bronze. You can if you want to go for like the cheap kind of like home PC where you're not going to play much games on it. But for gaming, for rendering, content creators out there especially now, go for 80 plus gold. Go for a minimum of 1,000 watt now. 850 you can kind of just get away with, but 1,000 watt is kind of the price, or the target that you want to go for. Price wise, around about $100.
Okay, and for those of us that have laptops, this is not applicable to you.
Oh yeah.
At all. But one thing that is applicable to you is driver support. And one thing that NVIDIA has just recently announced is that the there's a lot of cards. Maxwell, Pascal, and Volta GPU architectures. So that means that if you have a 700 series card up to a 1000 series card, your drivers are about to be frozen and they will no longer be updated. So that means all the CUDA support and everything like that, it will be frozen in time as NVIDIA moves towards their new architectures, like the 5000 series here. So if you have a laptop, chances are you might have a 9, a 7, or 6, and even maybe if you're lucky, a 1000 series GPU, and it's still running, it's still kicking, it's doing really great work. I'm thinking the XPS 15 series from a few years back. The one before the Thunderbolt port that actually allows external GPU. That card had laptop was 9 series, and it still runs very, very well for a laptop. Unfortunately, you will be losing driver support coming up in the next refresh cycle. That's it.
Yeah.
So this is an Apple move. Definitely, you have been obsoleted. But having said that, though, even though NVIDIA is big and everything like that, they have supported your GPUs for a very, very long time.
Yeah,
that's 4 generations of like 1000 was the last. Now 2000, 3000, 4000, 500. That's at least 8 years, 9 years of GPU support. So that's pretty good.
I think before the when did it start naming RTX? RTX 2000 series, right?
Yeah.
Before that, it was called the GTX.
Yeah.
So the GTX 10 series and the 9.
So they would be GTX 10, GTX 9, GTX 8, GTX 7. Those are all losing support. So rest in peace to those GPUs.
I think it's time for an upgrade then.
It's probably time for an upgrade.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Speaking of GPUs and AI and stuff like that, Sam Altman and his company, OpenAI, have announced something called Operator.
What is that?
Basically, what it does is it allows you to see what the AI is doing for you after you ask it a question.
Visually.
Visually, right?
Okay.
Now, this is not unlike what the Rabbit R1 did with a bunch of scripts and everything like that, using their version of AI to go through the internet using your passwords to book flights, do travel arrangements and stuff like that. Now, one account that I read about this new Operator AI, aside from the demonstration that they gave on their website, which there is a video of, let me just cover that quickly. The operation was go to Instacart. I'm making this recipe. Get me find the recipe for that meal, for that particular dish. Find me all the ingredients on Instacart. Add them to Instacart, except for the following ingredients that I already have at home. Whatever.
In your smart fridge.
And then check out and place that order for me. Right.
Okay.
So it did all that. That was obviously a stage demo. But what I read on the internet, at least on Reddit, in the OpenAI Operators subreddit, it said that the account was a lot less efficient. Okay. So basically, what it did was the operation was look for 30 influencers in the financial space and put them in a spreadsheet. And then find their email addresses and contact information. So the operator that had early access to the version of OpenAI asked the question. It went to Bing of all things to look for these influencers, which is weird. I would go to Google first. And then, these are all YouTubers as well, too. You should have gone straight to YouTube to find them because usually the information for all their social, including LinkedIn and everything, is in their bio and everything, including their contact email address. Didn't do any of that. And then eventually it only did the last thing, which is to find the influencer, their email, and their LinkedIn profile or something like that.
Yeah.
And it got it wrong. It actually hallucinated the email address. It wasn't correct. It just made it up.
So it wasn't. It's not as it wasn't efficient.
It wasn't efficient, and it got it wrong.
And it got it wrong
in front of your face.
But more importantly, more importantly, is the security, because, like you said, it's taking all your information and it's putting it out there somewhere.
It's using your logins to go to certain sites, right? And as a result, I'm wondering if there is any encryption. Let
me ask you this. So, Chrome, especially Chrome now, or even Firefox, say Chrome. When you enter a website and you put your details, it gives you an option to save it.
Yeah.
Do you save it? Occasionally.
I use LastPassword.
All right, so you can use a password app to protect your because there's something that you could double protect yourself. I know it's convenient and it's easy, quicker, I suppose, if you save your passwords and stuff like that via the browser, because Chrome offers that for you. It's supposed to be secure, but still, I tend to opt out for that because why? Because especially if it's a shared PC, right? Why would you want to save your details?
And anyone can get at it.
Yeah. So, passwords and that, it should always be separate, I think. It should always be saved somewhere else rather than on the browser.
Yeah. The convenience is too hard to ignore for most people. Because if you want a 26-character password or longer, you're not going to remember that. Right?
Yeah.
A hash hexadecimal password, you're not going to remember that, right?
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot easier. It's also harder for people to crack, but if someone were somehow to get into that database, a repository of passwords in your Chrome browser, just like hijacking a YouTube channel.
Exactly, because you can get those browser sessions hacked or compromised, and all the hackers got to do is just look at the saved passwords in your browser. That's it.
So I think that in this case, Operator, really neat demo. Definitely not ready for prime time because as the person remarked that was looking at it and playing with it, he's like, my 14-year-old can do this a lot faster with fewer errors. It took a long time. It took up to 20 minutes and stopped at 18 on that chart of 30.
So when you say that it shows you visually what it's doing, it's just basically you can see, for example, if you just go into the browser to search stuff, and is that what you're saying?
It's a mouse movement. It's a script. Right. It's you doing the thing. You could have done it faster. If you raced it, you probably would have done it faster.
Like you mentioned earlier about the scripted stuff. I mean, it's subject. I wouldn't say subject to abuse, but there are people people that could do things like that where you can script it.
Well, it is thinking about what it should do next, but it's so much slower than a human, you might as well do it yourself. Right? The only example where it actually kind of sort of worked was the one where they did Instacart. And I'm sure that they found one that was optimal for this demonstration and did that. Does it have any merit in the real world? Yeah, perhaps, maybe. If it gets faster and everything and shows its work, that would be great. I would love to see this solving math problems and everything like that because it's either right or wrong. Right? Things like that might be helpful so that you can see the solution written out for you and then work that backwards so you can understand the math. Right?
Yeah.
Things like that might be very useful. But for now, because it's been demonstrated to be slightly incompetent and going to the wrong places to search for information, it's going to need a little bit of work.
Are they going to include this into their chat GPT and stuff like that?
Well, it's a test right now.
Okay.
So you can play with it. Yeah. Just like when OpenAI releases the beta, you're welcome to play with it. It might be terrible, but you're welcome to play with it and see what the future holds.
I heard that they're going to be releasing a new chat GPT kind of advanced version later this year. Is that something that they're working on?
You can already pay $200 to get an advanced version. It ranges between $24 to $200.
Wow.
Right? So you just have different hooks and everything, depending on what you're using it for. And you can pay that. You're more than welcome to pay more money for more access and unlimited features.
How much is it Google or something who paid them billions of dollars?
OpenAI?
Yeah. Or invested?
I think that was Microsoft.
Oh, Microsoft.
Okay. Yeah. Google has their own. Google has Gemini.
Billions invested in OpenAI.
Google has Gemini. Okay. Speaking of, you go first.
All right. Next up is Apple. So, of course, the previous shows we did the Samsung Unpacked launch. Of course, every year they release something new, and we can expect something to be launched this year from Apple. And I'm not sure what they're going to be releasing. Probably a new phone as usual, maybe a new MacBook. But something they've been working on for a while, and that is the new Mac Pro. Mac Pro, the cheese grater thing.
Okay.
The big thing.
So Macaroni Pro.
Right?
Cheese and Mac.
But of course, over the last year or so, or a couple of years ago, they've been moving and shifting over from the Intel processor to the Mac or Apple Silicon.
Yep.
And the previous Mac Pro, I can't remember which M Silicon it has.
Start with M2, I think.
Yeah, but now they're moving on to the new, supposedly, the next one, which is the M4. But it's not just the standard M4 that you'll find on the MacBooks. It's the M4 Ultra.
Okay.
All right. So as usual, you can't upgrade the chip. You can upgrade the memory.
But can you though?
But it's kind of proprietary DDR memory that Apple uses. You can't just buy ordinary DDR RAM from the shelf and just plug it in. You know,
it's missing the controller, isn't it?
Have to be, you know.
So it's missing the controller,
and the SSD
just like
as well.
the SSDs are missing the controllers.
Yeah.
So they're headless.
Yeah, so they're proprietary memory and proprietary SSDs that you have to buy from Apple certified.
Okay.
And with that, of course, the prices is astronomical. I mean, I think it starts off probably around about 7-8 grand, and it goes up to, I think last time they demoed one, the previous one was like
25,
30 grand, wasn't it?
And it's obsolete now. It's not good, no good anymore.
I mean, it's something that, if you're gonna get something like that, you might as well get the Mac Mini.
Yeah, it seems like a better choice.
That's a better choice. In fact, you know, when people like have PC servers and servers on racks, people actually using Mac Minis on their racks.
They do, unless you have one of the newer ones where the on button's on the bottom. So you can't really use them on the unless you like 3D print something that pokes at the bottom of the chassis.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. That's like, stupid. Right?
Maybe it's to prevent people from turning them into server products. I don't know. They must have realized that this is how they use them, and they trolled them by doing this.
Those idiots.
Maybe. Maybe a better solution might be two of Jensen's NVIDIA's Jetson boxes, the little tiny ones.
Yeah.
They're $3,000 a piece, and they're full AI machines. They're smaller than a Mac Mini if you have a bunch of them interconnected. Although you can only connect two, they didn't stack more than two.
The funny thing is, all the, like you said, the Mac, the Apple Silicon and the NVIDIA's chips and AMD's chips, they're all made by one company.
Yeah, TSMC.
Right. So, yeah, it's just crazy.
But TSMC, to their credit, they're very secretive, even to their own government, which is Taiwan.
Oh yeah. I heard that they're very
very secretive. You bring
in
in stuff, they take it all away from you. They issue you a pencil and a paper that is serialized so that they know that those pages came from that book.
So you can't leak
any secrets. Even the Taiwanese government has to go through that scrutiny.
That's crazy.
I wouldn't be too worried about that.
All right. Okay. Yeah. But I said the M Silicon, M4 Ultra will be in the Mac Pro. Expect prices ridiculously.
When is this happening?
They're probably announcing that this year.
Okay. So like Apple event number one.
Something in maybe. Right. It's not like the huge event like the most popular event, which is the phone and the MacBooks. It's something that it's just an upgrade from their usual Mac Pro. Again, the price is not going to be, it's going to be high, but it's ridiculously priced. But the spec wise is, what are you paying for? What are you actually paying for? Really, the chip, okay, it's an Ultra. You know, maybe it's a beefed up MacBook Pro. Really?
Look, if you need that machine, you obviously need that machine for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's a reason that most people can't understand because either A, you really love Apple, or B, you actually really need it for a workflow of some kind. That's all I can really say about it.
Yeah.
You know, like honestly, if you have to buy that machine, it's probably of no benefit to you.
What's worse is they've already slated the next chip, which is the M5.
Oh, and so this will already be dead in the water.
Yeah, because they're releasing the M5 on their MacBook Pros.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Why do you want to put an M4 chip in a Mac Pro when you're going to have the M5 going to be going into the MacBook?
Maybe not enough people bought M4s and they have to take the silicon and slice it up some more.
Oh yeah.
Old stock.
That's right. They put the M4 chips together and call it the Ultra.
It's like in the restaurant when you have too many of a certain ingredient left over, you make it the next special for tomorrow night. Okay. Anyway, we talked about AI. And we talked about how AI it was incompetent in the one case where it was in the operator mode in OpenAI's demo. But a lot of people are saying that they are replacing their programming workforce and everything like that, the developers, mid-level developers, and they're replacing it with AI. In fact, Mark Zuckerberg is sinking a whole ton of money in laying off all their mid-level programmers and using AI to do that programming while their top-level senior programmers kind of supervise all this. Well, at least one company is proving that is definitely not going to happen anytime soon. A research company, an AI tech company called Cognition, Devin, which claimed to have the first AI software engineer. It has been running these experiments for the last while, and they found out that over a number of tasks, like let's just say that out of 20 tasks that it asked the AI to program for, scenarios that it programmed for, it failed 14 times. That means that its completion rate is just a success rate of only about 15%, 15 to 25%. So
the fact that real people is better than the AI.
It couldn't figure out the problems. It couldn't actually get started. In fact, it hallucinated a lot of things that they thought it should be this way.
I like that word.
And it just kept hitting the wall because it just couldn't interface with the software. I guess in this case it's called Railway. But anyhow, it just couldn't do the work to actually find a solution that would actually work. And it just kept hitting the wall. It kept making stuff up, because it simply couldn't find a logical answer.
See, that's the thing. That's the scariest part is when when AI make things up. It's just like I said, it couldn't figure out a solution. It just made things up.
It made it up.
That's worse than like a compulsive liar.
It's pretty bad.
You're making things up based on not facts, because you couldn't find a solution, so you've just made it up. That's just crazy.
Yeah. So this company, Devin, wanted to offer their AI-powered software engineers for about $500 a month, so that you can start building a team of engineering teams, right? But unfortunately, this is not going to come to fruition. Maybe because Mark Zuckerberg is spending $65 billion on building his team, that he might have a little bit better luck. But as far as most experiments have been telling us, even with the most advanced models right now, it's not viable. You actually still need humans in AI is to assist the human to do the job better. You're not getting rid of these programmers.
What's Meta AI, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at all the AI stuff out there, right? What one thing do they have in common? I tell you what, right? Meta AI. What does Meta AI have? Over 3 billion users data. 3 billion users worth of data, right? What does Google have with the Google Gemini AI? Everyone's data, right? Gmail, searches, everything, right? Search engine is top, and YouTube as well. And then you think about it, Microsoft. Okay. But one thing they have in common is all that data they can work on, right?
Yeah, but
there isn't an AI that you can start off with no data. So you have to have data.
Yeah. But if you're painting it broadly like that, the AI will be useless. AI doesn't work like that.
Without data, AI is useless.
No, well, with too much data, AI is useless. It will hallucinate.
It will have too much of the wrong data, maybe?
It will have, no. If you give it the internet, it will find a way to use the data that's available, and will use it in erroneous ways. That's why we always need to fact check them. What I'm talking about is a AI agent, an AI software engineer that is only programmed to engage with software engineering. It is very narrow focus, and it's failing at that particular focus. It's like driving a car and it's failing at doing car. That's why Elon's his self-driving, no matter what it does, it fails because it can't figure it out. And then it hallucinates about, oh, we should go over here. And it's been happening, right? It's not 100%. You still need to take the wheel. The human still needs to take the wheel in a vehicle that could become a weapon.
So basically self-driving is not going to be a while.
Well, this is just software, right? It knows how to program in this software. It's been fed all the data points and everything. Here's what I want you to do with what you have in front of you. There's a very narrow data set. And I can't do that.
Oh,
I can't do that. I don't know how to start this. I don't have enough guidance. Teach me, Father. Father will be the human. And that all it's going to do, and I keep saying this, it's like, look, AI is only going to help you get about 80% there. It gives you the bones, right? It might look mangled and everything, but it's the human's job to, the 80% that they used to spend trying to get to that point, they're going to use 100% to finish the last 20% now. It's going to be exceptional if the man and the machine work together. The machine itself is still failing on its own. Maybe someday it'll be okay. Maybe someday it'll be able to start to finish, and I'm sure that day will come. But for right now, this is what AI is. And hopefully by then, humans will be have this great platform in which to jump off of, that they can take that last 1% and spend 100% of their effort to make it even better.
Okay, so this is all artificial stuff, right? Artificial AI, intelligence, stuff like that.
Because all the stuff that we're seeing right now in AI, like generating photos and everything, finding answers on the internet and everything, that's just for show. That's to get the conversation going. But what we do want is we want a plumber. We want a electrician. We're not getting that with these guys. And when we make an AI, a plumber or electrician, even then it fails still.
The plumbers and the electricians, don't get me wrong, they make a ton of money.
They make a ton of money, and they're really good at it.
Real money.
Right? But like I said, if this AI has been given a limited data set that allows it to do a job very efficiently, and it cannot complete a task that is completely within its data set, within the data it's been fed, that's kind of disappointing.
Let me ask you an interesting question. So you got this all AI stuff, right? And the only thing that's, like I said, lacking is that human element, right? What happens if you mix AI with cyborg? Like part machine, part human?
Well, you would have to get the human interface correct. I mean, right now, even Neuralink.
Is that what? Yeah, Elon's doing.
Right? The probes are pulling out of people's heads, and they're limiting the amount of connectivity. Imagine if that person had to go through the operation all over again, right? Just to reattach the probes. We're not at that stage yet where we can actually interface humanity with a computer successfully and seamlessly, right? Maybe that day will come.
Maybe it to be like that Star Trek, Borg technology.
Yeah, but that's still like that's science fiction, right? Right now we can't even get the probes to stay in the guy's skull. Right? They keep pulling out because the human side, the biological machine, is rejecting it.
Oh yeah. It's antibodies and all that.
Right. So we got to get that figured out before that's going to happen. The Matrix is not going to happen for quite some time, right?
Yeah. You're safe.
Learning jujitsu in seconds will not happen for a little while now, right?
Yeah, it's gonna.
So I mean, it's still a little ways away, but
has it got potential though? Do you think it has potential?
You throw enough money at any problem, it will have potential. But right now, it can't even start and finish. It can't start and finish most of its tasks with a 15% success rate.
Yeah. So with OpenAI though,
that's still a start. Don't get me wrong. 15% is still better than 0.
Yeah.
I'm still positive.
Yeah. OpenAI. I think OpenAI has a lot of controversies, like because of I think didn't it start with Elon? It wasn't Elon.
Yeah, it was an Elon project.
Yeah, Elon was a board member there as well.
It was supposed to be an open project, like OpenAI,
which is supposed to be free. Right? Open,
but the only free AI right now is a competitor, a DeepSeek AI in China.
Okay.
They, for some reason, they ended up with 50,000 NVIDIA GPUs for some reason that are not allowed to be there.
There's export restrictions.
And the DeepSeek AI is actually very, very good. It's on par with OpenAI, but it's open. You can actually add to it, develop off of it. It's up to you how you do things with it. So they've basically given it away. So
yeah, it is interesting because OpenAI, what's his name? Sam Altman, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's a kind of funny guy. He's I wouldn't say he's like Elon, but man, he's got some stuff hidden, as in maybe some secrets which are both personal and business. I don't know, because that company though, OpenAI, if you call it a company, I still don't trust it though.
Yeah, well, even Microsoft was thrown off when he was ousted from his own company, only to come back. So some trust issues there. At any rate, you got any more stories for the audience?
That's it for this week, I think. Okay. We'll have plenty more. Of course, lots of interesting news about what your project. You got some nice, interesting projects we can talk about after next time?
Maybe. Yeah. I'll have to clear it.
And then, of course, we'll cover some of the new stuff or expect coming up for this year's Computex. That'll be interesting to see.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So until then, have a great, make sure you subscribe to our channel. And
yes, because it's a YouTube exclusive, so you're not going to get it anywhere else. You're going to have to find it here. And by the time this goes up, the year of the snake.
Year of the snake. 恭喜發財.
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 All right.
And until then, we'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.